Welcome to the Freelance Sucks. Here we discuss the dark side of freelancing about which nobody usually talks out loud. In this show, we speak with experienced freelancers, and I'm sure listening to their stories helps you prepare for freelancers' challenges. My name is Yuri. I'm a community builder at Code Control and 9am.works, and my guest is Lisette Sutherland, a remote working German-born Dutch American living in the Netherlands. Fractional head of remote, a director and facilitator of Collaboration Superpowers company, where she empowers individuals and teams to excel in remote collaboration through online and in-person workshops. So welcome, Lisette.
Thanks. Clearly, the American part stands out as all that good marketing. That's good marketing there. I love
That's
it.
how it works. That's how it works. So the easiest question for you. What is the most challenging part of being a freelancer?
Working on the most important thing first. Because there's things that I really like doing, like making the graphic for the event that I'm facilitating next week. But then there's the thing that I need to do to make money. And so, it's easy to do it on Monday, but then you also have to do it on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then on Monday again. And I think it's that continuous focus on what is the actual number one priority, what is the number one thing that's going to earn you money today. That's the struggle, just doing it over and over again.
How do you understand what exactly will earn money today?
That is an ongoing process. But I mean, one of the books this is the best book. This is The Revenue Growth Habit. This book is amazing as a freelancer. Listen, when you sit down and you think about, like, if you needed money today, how would you get it? Like, if you didn't have tomorrow to get money, how would you get money today? Would you send out a social media post? You would not, right? You would call somebody probably if you needed to get money today. So you wouldn't set up a website, so that's kind of how you find, like, what is the most important thing? What will bring you money today? So you have to move to that thinking a little bit. And then for my business, I hired a business coach. And I think that's probably one of if you have the resources. I was lucky enough to have, during the pandemic, to have the resources to do that. Because remote work was hot and I was all over the place. But I hired a business coach to help keep me focused. And what we did is we built up a system. Every company can visualize its system somehow, like your lead magnets, how you funnel in people into your system. So if you're a graphic designer, it's like, how do you market yourself to get people to come to you? And so we visualized my system. And then every week I would work to put one lever of the system higher or lower. So a business coach is a great way to go. It helps you keep focus.
Yeah, that's exactly why they business coaches, I guess.
It's like the personal trainer again, right? It's the same. Like, you can do the sit-ups at home, but they're going to watch you do the sit-ups and, and then you're going to do them.
I'm like, do it.
Right?
I'm watching you. Do it.
Yeah, that's what we pay them for.
And he also told that still there are things that you like doing and not that much like doing. So even though those things that are bringing money mostly are not the best things, like not the most likable things. So how do you overcome this? I don't like it, but I must do it. What is your inner conversation you have with yourself at this moment?
I do it first, like the very first thing in the day. Also, the way I like to work is I like to work on things over time. So I'll just do the first step. And then tomorrow I'll do the second step. Or, sometimes all you need is just doing the first step. But I'll just say, like, all I need to do today, I need to do 15 minutes of focus time on that. I just need to start it. And then I leave it after 15 minutes. And sometimes for the really hard tasks, I'll reward myself. I'll say, like, okay, I've got to do it. You do it first, however long you do it first, and then reward myself. Like, I'll reward myself with, it's usually food, but maybe sometimes a walk. I hate doing it, like a piece of chocolate. You just whatever it is that you can reward yourself with. But that's how I do it. I really like to work on things over time. I got this from Jerry Seinfeld, and he said that he writes every day, but just 1 hour a day,
No matter
one
what.
very focused hour a day, no matter what. And that's what I do too. I do the most important thing first every day, no matter what. And at the end of the day, I let myself do the fun stuff. When my brain is totally fried, I can make that graphic. You know, it's like it's fried brain work. You know,
Right,
you're
right.
cleaning up your files or something, you know, the stuff that you should not do first thing, or, you know, whenever you're most productive.
So kind of eat the biggest frog first and then do the fry brain work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, or schedule your day around your productivity. Some people are night owls. So like if you're a night owl, then like you just schedule it for when you're most productive. But for me, it's first thing in the morning. My brain just gets tireder and tireder as the day goes on.
What is the most time-consuming thing you must deal with as a freelancer, except for work itself?
Yeah, it's keeping yourself relevant and all the marketing. I mean, I think that's where I spend the most time personally. I've gotten some things down to a T. Like what I think my biggest success thing as a freelancer is I started Money Monday like 20 years ago, and I have a checklist on Mondays, and it's my checklist for finance. I always do it on Mondays, and it's just a checklist for all the things because I hate finance stuff. I hate the money stuff, the invoicing, the going after the money. I hate it, but I just go through the list every Monday. And then that means that I never have to do like a big long day of finance stuff where I'm working, you know, all the I's get dotted and stuff. So everything gets done. So Money Monday is my best routine. And that just makes, I don't have to spend time on the finances, and then just marketing myself. And, you know, you've got to talk, if somebody wants a presentation, you first have to have a conversation. Like, do they like you? You have to send a proposal. You have to go back and forth, scheduling a time, you're available, pricing. You know, it takes hours to get any event. You know, so you have to build that into your pricing and all of that.
What is one thing that you are constantly doing that helps you the most on the marketing side?
Newsletter.
Hmm.
It's still king. Even though I must say now less and less with ChatGPT, people are going less and less to newsletters and things for sources of information. But I still think the newsletter is king. People are signing up to hear specifically from you about your content. You've got a captive audience.
And what tool do you use for that?
I'm really lowbrow. I used to use complicated ones, but I like MailerLite.
Okay.
Super simple tool, super simple interface. There's not a lot of options. And I don't need much. I just need a reasonable letter that goes out. It doesn't matter. What I've learned is it doesn't really matter what your newsletter looks like. It matters what content are you delivering. It's just like with events. Like, are you delivering value? People will remain on your letter.
Are you checking statistics?
All the time. Yeah. Otherwise, how do you make decisions if you don't have data? If you're doing it by feel, you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall. The data is what guides you.
Got it. Oh, what is the most nerve-wracking thing that you must deal with as a freelancer?
Getting set up in clients' billing systems. Like if you like, for instance, all the big companies have really complicated processes for getting set up in their system. Seriously, it takes hours. They send you spreadsheets that asks for the same information that's on the invoice, but you have to fill it out in their Excel spreadsheet, or worse, in their Word table, and then send it back where somebody is manually entering that stuff into a system. And it's all on the invoice. So those things are maddening. Those things are maddening, and all the tax systems and stuff. So that's the stuff I dislike the most.
Yeah, it's good that you don't have to write them in your hand on a piece of paper and send it to them. We are mail.
We're not far from that. It's like there's pigeons, you know, you're looking at the pigeons like, are you going to deliver the message? No, but you know, one of my colleagues, he has a 10% no bureaucracy discount that he offers any client. He'll give you a 10% discount if you can just send an invoice and it gets paid.
Wow. Wow, I feel like it's a great tip, by the way. You know, I've never heard about this, but 10% bureaucracy discount is like, Yeah, I feel like it saves so much time that you can really afford. And usually, you're definitely not the first person who hates it. I almost every freelancer I talk to hates dealing with invoices, with all the stuff. But I feel like some company, who will create some kind of tool that allows to do everything in one click will make millions and millions on that.
Yeah, there's people that have tried, but everybody's got their own system. And some, like especially banks, have really outdated software systems and databases. I mean, they're really working from the 1980s on some of these things. And so you feel for the people that are in these systems. But it's really a problem. Really, you can spend hours and hours in paperwork, and you have to request things from the government, and it's for real. So you build it into your pricing.
Yeah.
All of that, when people say like, why do you charge that much for a webinar? And it's like, because I have to deal with hours of this to deliver this webinar.
It's 90 minutes webinar, but then it's like 3 hours of dealing with invoicing and stuff.
Really?
That's exactly where the price is.
Exactly.
As a freelancer, do you ever feel professional loneliness?
I personally don't have this. But I know I'm in the minority. Many people have this, but I don't. I am so used to networking and being online and interacting with people online. I mean, I have a thriving, rich community of in-person friends. So don't get me wrong, like I'm not all completely online. And maybe that's the thing that helps, is having the good balance of it. If you're doing everything online and you're just alone in your house, that's not healthy. You do need human interaction, but I think I can't control how much human interaction other people get. So that's one of those things you really have to take responsibility for yourself and get out there and, go to the sports, the music, the church, the whatever it is, where you can be around people that you enjoy.
Talking about networking, what is the best way for you to build a professional network?
It's I think turning on your curiosity and genuinely caring about other people. Because people say like, oh yeah, just go and connect on LinkedIn and interact and like people's stuff, but that doesn't build network. You kind of have to show up for people. So it's leaving good advice when people are asking for it. It's reaching out. It's being proactive. I mean, going to events just like you would in person, like going to networking events online, or being part of it. There's tons of communities out there, online communities, that would love to have an active participant.
Yeah. So just go, be there, be yourself,
just
ask people
there.
questions.
Yeah, just be there. I mean, that's you're not going to meet. I always used to say in the olden days, back in the 80s, I always used to say you're not going to meet somebody in your living room, but actually these days you will meet somebody in your living room. You just have to go to the online event. So you have it even easier. You don't even have to leave the house, and you can meet somebody from all over the world.
I would even add, in any room, basically, you can meet someone
right,
in
wherever
any room.
you are.
Yeah, exactly. If your friend wanted to become a freelancer, what are top 3 things you'd advise them to consider before doing it?
Yeah, that's one. Is, can you take the hustle? Because it sounds really fun, like, oh yeah, you don't have a boss, you could do whatever you want, but the fact is that you're hustling every single day, depending on who your clients are. It's sort of you're, when the client work stops, you don't get to just take vacation, a paid vacation. So as a freelancer, you really have to are you up for it? Because it's a roller coaster, and it's never not going to be a roller coaster. So you have to be up for the ups and downs. My second piece of advice is, have a safety net. Like, don't do it if you don't have any money, because you don't want to make decisions out of fear and stress. That's where you're going to make the wrong decisions. So whatever you can do to have a safety net, you always have to. Jim Collins, the author of From Good to Great, says you always want to have your oxygen tanks with you, right? Like, don't do it if you have $1,000 left in the bank account. Like, that is not, you'll get a fire lit under your butt, that's for sure, but it is not the healthy way to go. And then my third piece of advice is, really set boundaries for yourself, because when you love your work and when your life and money depends on how much work you do, you can work nonstop and you tend to work nonstop. I did it for a long time, but as you get older, really, I can't even believe I'm saying this. It's like I'm now at that age, but really, yeah, your ability to do it is less and less. And we see so many people going into burnout with that lifestyle. Like you can do it for a while. You sure can, like even for a decade, but at some point it will catch up to you. And so really learning boundaries early will save you a lot of pain later.
I always asking myself this question. So I don't really feel that you have to really work hard to get great results. Yes, definitely at some point you have to work hard, but overall I'm always asking myself a question. How can I do less to get more? And I feel
Yeah,
like it's very powerful. It makes your brain work like in a way like, oh yeah, maybe I can automate, maybe I can delegate, maybe I can build some processes. And yes, I feel like at the end of the day, I would like to, just work whenever I like, do whatever I want, and then just having a ton of cash, kind of. So we'll see.
exactly. But then you have to really build that. And for me, I really want to take weekends off. I don't want to think about it on the weekend. Every once in a while, I might do an hour or something of catching up and because I was toasted on Friday and I couldn't finish. So, I'll just quickly do something that kind of eases my mind. But for the most part, I take my weekends off because I need the space for my brain to think about other things so that I can come back to it. I don't know, everybody has their thing, but find it early, because for the people who have experienced or have seen others go through burnout, it's not nothing. It can
Yeah.
really screw you up. It can really screw up your life.
Lisette, I wish to have the sky's the limit, but time is the limit. So the final
Oh yeah.
question. If you were starting freelancing today, what is one thing you would have done differently?
Ooh, that is an interesting question. If I were starting today, what would I have done differently? I would have hired a business coach earlier. I would have hired a business coach earlier. Um, if you have the resources, if you can trade time, whatever you can do to have somebody who helps you focus, because it's even with a business coach and discipline and determination, every single week, it was difficult to accomplish the one goal I had set for myself the week before. And I found it surprising how difficult it was. And one of the only reasons I would accomplish the goal at all, and it probably only happened 80% of the time, was because I knew that my coach was there and he was going to ask me about it. And the thing about having small weekly goals like that is it doesn't move the needle quickly, but after a few months, you've done like weeks and weeks of experiments, and it's very powerful.
Yeah.
Having some sort of accountability partner, that's the key.
Totally got it. Lisette, thank you so much for sharing your experience and for having such an open conversation.
Thanks for having me on the show. I totally appreciate it.
And thank you so much for listening. If you like the show, hit the like button, 5 stars, and share it with your friend. That's it. We're done. See you in the next episode.